started around ninth grade year. I was bullied by an 11th grader at the time, who also happened to play on the same football team as I did. The bullying went on for approximately about a good 5 months. It started with just name calling, and then it got kind of physical, to the point where
in high school, I was part of the popular crowd for sure, and I made a decision towards the middle to end of high school that wasn't really a place I wanted to be anymore. And it was tough. A lot of these girls and guys I played sports with, we were in the same crowds, our families were friends, but they had started making some decisions that just really didn't align with who I was at the end of the day. So I remember I went to two of the girls' lockers and I told them I didn't want to be friends anymore. Next day at school, some rumblings going on, people are kind of laughing at me, looking at me, just trying to ignore it, thinking I'm making it up in my head. Somebody pulls me aside, somebody I wasn't even friends with, and let me know that these two girls had actually taken the time and energy to make like a look-alike type doll of me. And I was like, what doesn't make sense? It had long hair, it had on my soccer jersey, it was odd. And I guess what they were doing was kind of passing it around the hallways and letting people like mutilate it, do things to it, cut my hair, jab things in me. I was devastated. I am crying, didn't want to go to class. I was really, really hurt. I was making decisions for myself to be a better person, to do my own thing, kind of ended up hurting myself in the end through other people. I picked myself up immediately and moved on and was strong and used all my resources, but I didn't, not right away. I wavered on my decision, went back and forth. Did I make the right decision? The whole doll of me was probably the most hurtful part. I think my house got egged a time or two after that. Again, not a fun part of what I went through. But there was a point where I was done.
I guess for me it started when I was really little, 6 years old. I was the youngest kid in our neighborhood, and I always wanted to be like the big kids. But on the bus stop, I was always picked on and bullied. There was one kid, he'd always steal my lunch, look to see what he wanted out of it, and then he would take the rest of my lunch, and he would find, we had a puddle in our, puddle of water that was at our bus stop, and every single day he would take my lunch, he would drown it, make sure it was nice and wet, and then he'd throw it back to me. And of course I didn't say anything. I was 6 years old. But as I got older it got worse, and I was still the little kid in the neighborhood. And it built up to the point where they had started calling me Fat Boy. And they had tied me to a tree. And they got branches out, and they started whipping me with the branches. Told me this is how I'm going to lose weight. And they laughed the whole time, and then they left me tied to that tree.
I think that incident just made me a better man for myself too, though, because I realized that, you know, I can be smarter than a bully, you know, and I hope that people, you know, learn how to stand up to a bully, but not physically, in a physical way, but in a smarter mental way. Bullying is something that I see it happening by me working in the high school environment. It's something that I wish people would realize that, you know, it's just, it makes no sense to do that to a person, which, you know, in life you want to try and build people up, not to constantly bring them down. Bullying is something that can drive a person to do things that they don't want to do. And that's something that I learned from my incident.
We made a choice. We made a choice too.
Stand up. Follow our dreams.
Believe in ourselves.
And take control.
And take control.
And take control.
You have the courage and the right to reject
The hatred.
The abuse.
The pain.